Well, hello there. This is Gary Gnu from the Great Space Coaster, and you're watching MegaPodTastic.
We got something for you. We got something for you. You. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for MegaPodTastic. 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 MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, Megapodlings. It's Crazy Joe. I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to bring in, I got a guest here with me. I'm going to bring him in. And I put the link out there for a couple other people. If anyone else wants to join in who has the link, I hope you will, because I got something to talk about. And I would love to get some extra opinions because clearly I am close to the situation. And sometimes you can't see things objectively when you're close to the situation. So I've asked some friends to come on and bounce this around with me. And I've got one person who did reply, and that is Mr. Matt Jarbo from $3 Theater. Matt, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, doing good. I think something bugging me, and it's bugging a friend of mine, but we're close. We're very close to this situation. So it's, sometimes when you're too close, you can't see it clearly.
Yeah,
And,
we've all been there.
yeah.
For the record, I literally have zero idea what he's going to say. I
All
have
right.
no idea.
So here's the deal. There is a convention going on this weekend, this coming weekend, first weekend of March, in Orlando, Florida, and it's called Super RetroCon, and I'm not too happy about it. Some other people are not too happy about it. Let me share my screen here.
Okay.
My friend Tony created a convention here in the Philadelphia area 10 years ago called RetroCon. Happens every September. And now last year, this con popped up in Orlando, Florida called Super RetroCon. And we've let them know there's another con called RetroCon, and they don't seem to care. So today I posted something on their Facebook page. This is the second year saying, hey, there is a con called RetroCon, and we kind of think you're stealing the name. And they immediately deleted my post, like right away. So I encouraged some other people who go to RetroCon regularly, go over to their page, let them know politely that there's another con out there with this name. And the owner of the convention, Jeff Davis, responded. And he says to me, I don't see how a RetroCon in Florida has anything to do with the one in Philly. It's not like they're either are on a tour. There's also a Retro Toy Con in South Carolina. Maybe you should bug them as well. I think it's funny you assume this event is stealing the name. The word retro is used pretty much everywhere. Now, my example was if I opened a burger place and called it Super McDonald's, I don't know that I don't know that I would go over so well with McDonald's. If I started a convention and called it Super Dragon Con, I don't know that the promoters of Dragon Con in Atlanta would take kindly to it. I don't know, Matt, what is your opinion on this? If I started a show and called it Super $3 Theater, would you be okay with that?
I mean, no, I see your point. I'm trying to think of this from like the best way I can possibly approach it. Cause it's like, so for one, it looks like RetroCon is two words, correct? So it's not RetroCon as one word.
They
I'm
did
assuming
put a dash in there.
it's dashed. It's also Super Retro Con. So it's almost like an entirely different entity. Sure, it's similar. There's always going to be, vague similarities. Like, Dave's Burgers might exist in Orlando as well as Seattle. And they're not a franchise. They just happen to be in different locations. I'm assuming that RetroCon in Philly is probably an LLC. I would assume so, because if you need to get the business license for that, you probably want to have an LLC attached to it.
Yeah, I'm not actually. I'm friends with the
Okay.
people who run it, but I am not actually associated myself, so I don't know
Okay.
for sure.
So, and you probably don't know if they're trademarked, right? Because
They
that could.
they are not trademarked, and
Okay.
we talked about that
Yeah.
today, and we were trying to decide, is this even worth it? Is this worth fighting in any way? I'm having mouse trouble. I'm trying to.
I mean, like fighting this kind of thing requires money on both ends, right? Both people. If you file a copyright claim or an IP claim, then it goes into a different kind of environment. It goes into a different thing. So it's like you have to kind of showcase it like on a I'm trying to, I don't know all of the terminology for it, but it's like there are movies that do have the same name, and people know that they're not. But then there are, if you look at, like, let's say, I'll just use this as an example, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one released in 1974, one released in 2022.
Right.
Same name, literally the same story, right? It's a continuation of the franchise, but the makers of this new movie bought the rights through purchases away from the original creators. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not like the best person to ask. I don't have a lot of experience in this field, but I think because they call it Super RetroCon and it's spelled pseudo differently. And, there are a bunch of like there's like the Portland gaming, I think the Portland Retro Expo, right?
Right.
Is one. Like retro is a pretty common term, and it has a pretty common meaning. And it's also possible that there's like retro cons in other locations, right?
Yeah, he mentions the Retro Toy Con, which is incredibly similar, but at least they're not putting it together. Like they're not.
Yeah.
They are breaking up the retro and the con. Movie John, by the way, says it is what it is. Don't let it bother you. And Greg's Gamer Room, who was in the Orlando area, and for all I know, Greg is planning to attend Super RetroCon. I don't know, but Greg says retro and con are pretty generic terms. McDonald's is a specific person's name.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a whole situation with McDonald's. I think it's like one McDonald's in Scotland or something can operate with the name, or there can be, because like it's a whole weird thing with IP law and lawsuits and stuff. Basically, like the only way you'd be able to fight this legitimately would be to file a lawsuit or a civil suit and then hope that a judge or a jury rules in your favor. And then you're going to be able to like legally force them to change their name. I think at this point, though, it's probably not really worth it. To be fair, it's not to say that it doesn't suck, but even like, for example, RetroCon, the Twitter handle is RetroCons, not RetroCon. So it's like, okay, who has RetroCon? That account doesn't exist according to Twitter. So maybe someone may want to jump in there and grab that. And then also retrocons.com is the website, not RetroCon. So, I mean, that's kind of like a little interesting as well. What's at retrocon.com? It's this retro marketplace. Yeah, it just auto redirects. So that's just a placeholder domain. I mean, like you got like the Retro Network here for, I'm assuming that's a podcast. And, again, retro is such a broad blanket term. I don't think you would be able to, to hold it to account like that,
So do you think, and I ask this to the chat as well, because I'm friends with the creator of RetroCon, so I'm close to the situation because I'm very protective of my friends. Matt, you know this. You've seen me defend you vigorously on Twitter. When my friends are under attack, I get like rabid.
Yes,
and,
people do not like me.
And my friend Tony, I see my friend Tony being taken advantage of. It drives me crazy because it's like that's my friend you're going after. So I'm close to the situation. Should I, for people who have distance and can look at this with more perspective than I can, should I just walk away from this and say, Like as John says, it is what it is. Oh, John's starting a new YouTube channel called Super MegaPodtastic. Well, F you, John. No, I love movie John. I don't know. What does everyone think? Should I just calm down and say this is what it is and go and do my breathing exercises?
Well, okay. So according to so I'm looking up here, like so you've got like RetroCon 2014 was the first one, correct?
2012.
Okay, 2012. Because I'm just looking at here, fancons.com. So I'm just trying to like look around to see like what we can Super RetroCon. Let's see. All right.
Brandon
it looks like
some things are not worth the fight. Yeah.
Some things aren't worth the fight, to be honest with you. I mean, it's kind of like what exactly, if it's just, retro toys, I mean, like, is it really that big of a deal? Like, if Super RetroCon was looking to like muscle its way into Philadelphia, if it wanted to come in and like kneecap you like a bunch of thugs, then you would have an issue. I would say fight back, get the community to stand up. You got to fight one of us, you fight all of us, snaky bastards. But in the meantime, like, do you plan on going to Orlando and starting a RetroCon?
No, I don't.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's not to say it's kind of dumb. I don't think it's dumb to be upset. I don't think you being emotional about it and thinking that it's not right is dumb. I think that's perfectly valid. Where, there are a lot of things, for example, that people have done that have never gotten credit for, you know what I mean? Or stuff has been taken and repurposed without, giving proper credit. And it happens all the time, but then again, some people also just come to an idea on their own. Right.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. So like, when I was doing the true crime podcast, I called it Milk Carton Mysteries. I just happened to like the name. Thought it was a bit of a quirky title. And then I went and I'm like, okay, well, let me find the domain name, milkcartonmysteries.com. What the F? That's taken. Okay. That's a little weird because I came up with this idea like 3 years ago, but I never acted on it. And so, and I go and I take a look at it and it's some lady's blog who's cataloging, doing, this kind of stuff, right? Like,
right.
Missing people and everything. Like, so it's similar. I want to cover true crime that includes missing persons, but she's not doing a podcast. She's just got the Facebook page and the website, so it's kind of like that, where it's like, you're like, oh crap. Like, how do I, like I have an idea, but it's not being used in this specific way, but it does have a similar name. And, but again, like you have to just, I think like intent matters. I think you'd have to mostly, if you were going to get your friends who run RetroCon to fight this, for one, they'd have to send a cease and desist letter to Super RetroCon. And then that could, sometimes a letter from a lawyer can actually do a fair amount, to be honest with you. But probably with these guys having set it up, they're going to be like, not a pound sand. And then the next step there would be to go and contact a trademark or copyright lawyer and then see about filing an actual suit. And then, it can go into a number of different areas. I would say probably like just vote with your wallet and never attend, like never attend Super RetroCon, and then hope that RetroCon Philly can beef up its numbers and then like, usurp them on every level, right? Demolish them. And then they'll be like, we have no choice but to end Super RetroCon because no one comes to our crappy knockoff con. And you're like, damn right, bitch. I said, kneel, you may want to try something like that. Like at the end of the day, it's probably not going to matter. It's a waste of time and money, in my opinion, because there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. Like there's a guy who took my last name and built an entire brand around turning my last name into a moniker.
Really?
Creating rap music.
Well, that's weird.
Super weird. Super weird. You know, and like there were other people that were like, when I had my controversy a couple years ago, that they would just like use my image in like every one of their videos, even when it wasn't related. And I'm like, I could probably get you on copyright for that because that's my image. And then another lawyer was like, nah, probably not, you know, because it's considered transformative. And I'm like, but it's not related. And they're like, yeah, but people aren't going to think that you're him. And I'm like, well, that's true. You know, so I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, or a RetroCon would have to ask themselves, would people in Orlando assume that this is an offshoot of that convention? And if they don't believe that, then you don't really have a case.
I know in the toy collector community, the RetroCon has made a name for themselves. RetroCon is known throughout the toy community, toy collectors throughout the country. But the average person in Orlando, I don't know that they would know what RetroCon is. Greg, are you... Greg says, I will go to Super RetroCon wearing a Philly RetroCon shirt and shout, Super RetroCon is a fraud. Go to the real one. You know, Greg, if you want to do that, I could get a RetroCon t-shirt out to you pretty quick.
You should. Yeah, great.
And let's see. Brian Mania says, Joey Baseball would probably say cons are a scam. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. It seems that most people think I should just let this go and do my heavy breathing and just calm down, have a beer. I don't know. So,
yeah, pretty much. That's just kind of the whole point, right? Like it's in many ways, what you have to realize is that, you know, this is just unfortunately parts of life, you know, and like I said, some people just come to the same idea on their own and they don't do any research to it. You know, there's this, I don't know if you happen to be, are you a fan of the show Mad Men?
I've seen it once or twice, but I never kept up with it.
I understand. It's kind of a slow burn. It's a very slow burn show, but there's a part where you've got this like hotshot douchebag named Pete. And he comes up with this like salesman technique and he's like all excited about it and he pitches it and they're just like, yeah, no, it already exists. Like, so they kind of laughed him out of the room because this idea had already existed. But then he's like, yeah, but I still came to it on my own. You know, he didn't know about it, but he came to it on. So that's kind of the idea there is like, you know, the concept of a podcast is not that something that's unique anymore. Everyone's got one. And then, but it's like, and you know, a lot of people covered the same stuff, you know? So I'm sure there's how many freaking podcasts are called retro something or another.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot. I actually, my assumption was that these guys probably didn't know there was a RetroCon in Philly the first year, but we let them know. So for year 2, I definitely know they're aware. And I don't know. I guess we just let it go. But
well, I mean, if they're aware and they you know, they might just act that they don't care. But you know, if it's a big deal, just first off, have the guys who run it have their attorney send a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
And then just see like what else might pop up out of that.
Aubrey says, wait, there's going to be a ripoff of RetroCon. There is a Super RetroCon in Orlando, Florida, Aubrey. It's by the way, Aubrey, I got something. I got a prize you won months ago that's coming out to you in the mail this week. So keep an eye out.
Okay, well here's one. DenverRetroCon.com.
Denver RetroCon. I hadn't even heard of that one.
Yeah, DenverRetroCon.com. Returning in 2022. Taking place in at the Delta by Marriott North Glen. When is it? When is it happening? It doesn't say when it's happening. You know. But it's that's something that's going on.
Well, there you go. I guess I'm just gonna Just gonna calm down on this one. I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate everyone in the chat's perspective too, because I don't know. I get a little too. It's funny. It's funny because I'm known for not having a temper, but things like this drive me up a wall.
No, I understand. I understand that. I understand that. You know, there's here's something interesting. Did you know that the game company Mad Catz used to put out a PlayStation 2 controller called the RetroCon?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's probably going, I'm sure, way back before
well, that's
Tony
PlayStation
had
2.
the name. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that was I actually used to know one of their head designers. Because Mad Catz, their home office was, I didn't realize this literally until after they closed. It was maybe not even like a mile and a half from my place. I passed it every day on the way to work. And I had no idea when I lived in San Diego. It just like literally was this tiny building in a crap hole East San Diego town called Lakeside. Well, it might have been Santee. I forget like where, but yeah, it was like right there. I didn't even realize. I knew the product because I had seen it on store shelves and everything else, but then found out because my coworker's husband worked there. So like we would get a whole bunch of Mad Catz loot for Christmas, like whatever they had like left over in the office. They would just do that. But it does look here like you guys like just looking around here, like RetroCon, Super RetroCon, and Denver RetroCon right now are kind of the there's other, but then you got here, you have Super Retro Gaming Expo. I mean, Retro Toy Con. There's some. Hold on here. PacSun has Playboy RetroCon long sleeve shirt. So Playboy has a RetroCon.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just says Playboy by PacSun RetroCon long sleeve shirt. And let me see here. It's what does it say? It's just like an old retro Playboy shirt, but they have it listed as RetroCon, but it's Retro Space Con. So it's kind of like,
Greg, I don't know if Greg's joking. Greg says Denver RetroCon is also in Orlando, Florida.
That would make sense. Yeah. Because people don't ever talk about the Denver to Orlando pipeline. It's just it's crazy how much Funko Pop gets siphoned through there. I laugh at that because I live in Washington and Funko is based here. So literally everything is sponsored by Funko. I go to the the Emerald City Comic Con, and it's Funkos. As far as the eye can see, it's just nothing but Funko Pops. So,
yep. I'm getting texts from my brother saying he's being a wise guy. Well, I think we've exhausted this topic. I needed to bounce it around, so I appreciate you coming on, Matt. And I don't know. I guess there's not much more to talk about here. I guess we just let it go, and that's that. So, but Greg, if you really want to do that, I'll work on getting you a shirt.
Yeah, you should go to Orlando and then just start, Mega Retro Expo. and then they'll be like, "What the hell, bro?" And you'll be like, "What? It's not super, it's mega. Eat a dick." I don't know. I mean, these things, man, like, I don't think there's a lot of money to be made there, to be honest with you. And it's not to say that these cons, like, I mean, like, I'm sure like some people pop up on these things. It's you might get a couple celebrities here and there, depending if they can get the budget to bring them out. And it's like you go to San Diego Comic-Con, and I've done San Diego Comic-Con 19 times. So I am an expert at San Diego Comic-Con. And a lot of those guys, a lot of the actors, like, they tour, but they also, they go there for free because they know they can make money selling their headshots and stuff and autographs and pictures. So I mean, did they get a lot of people out there for this one?
For the Super Mega, for the Super
No,
RetroCon?
for RetroCon, do they get any celebs?
Well, it's the focus is it's a retro convention, so the focus is on 70s and 80s. So they get people like last year. William Cat was there. A couple of years ago, they had an A-Team reunion and had Mr. T didn't show, but they had Dirk Benedict and Dwight Schultz. Sergeant Slaughter's gone many times. So it's Cousin Oliver was there. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name. The actor who played Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch. So
I don't remember. I just remember every time they entered in another child on those shows, it always meant that it was dead.
Robbie Rist. He was the also the voice of I think, was it Michelangelo? I want to say Michelangelo in the first Ninja Turtles movie. So
okay.
So yeah, they get for what their goal is, what they're looking for. They get some, I think, pretty good this year. Oh wait, you know what? I don't know if I was supposed to say that. I don't know if that's been announced. Okay, I'm gonna have to delete this video now. I'm gonna have to delete this video or make it private because I don't think I was supposed to say that.
I don't even know who that is.
So. I think I just look. I'm getting like all excited trying to protect my friend, and I think I blew a reveal for him. So I just I inadvertently just screwed him now. All right, I gotta delete this stream. This isn't gonna be on the. Well, I think it's time to end this stream now.
All right. Well, I will. I'll chit chat with you later. I got to go just take care of some stuff anyway. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully we solved your problem.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for. Lisa says, "Don't pull another El Mojo." There you go. I want to thank Matt for being here. Thanks everyone for your 2 cents. And I have to make this private now. So anyone watching, don't reveal what I just said. That should do me a favor and just keep that one under wraps, okay? Well, all right, guys.
Hey, this is Nana Visitor, and you are watching MegaPodTastic.
All right. Yeah, so last night I accidentally revealed a guest at the upcoming RetroCon convention. It was a mistake. I went back and muted it. I talked to my friend Tony, who runs the convention, and he said it wasn't the biggest disaster in the world because apparently that guest, his manager, put it out on their personal website that he's going to be appearing there, even though it hasn't been announced by the con yet. So if you heard it last night, apparently I didn't make that big of a boo-boo, but still, just to be sure, I went back, got the video from last night, made it private, downloaded it, muted out the part where I said the name, and you just got the rebroadcast. Hey, Louise is here. Good to see you, Louise. And Skullman's here. Skullman says, I was thinking about ordering a Peacemaker costume online and buying a stuffed eagle and going to Philly Comic-Con Expo just to do the Peacemaker dance. Skullman, that would be epic. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to the Philadelphia Comic-Con. I do need to save money, so I might not. But I'll be honest with you, I would like to see that. I would definitely like to see that. So yeah, it is morning. It is 10:20 a.m. here in the Philadelphia area, though I do believe Louise is in the UK. Therefore, I don't usually go on this early, and there are not many people watching. Of course, this was completely unexpected. Aubrey's here. Welcome, Aubrey. Good to see you. You were here last night as well, and always a joy to see you. Aubrey, I am going to the post office today, and I have something to mail out for you. It's a little contest you won a while back, and you got back to me a little too late. I had already handed in the addresses, so I had one shipped to my home address, and then usually they go out from the studio, and for everyone else, they did go out from the studio. But since you got back to me just a little too late, I had put my home address in for the last one, and it came to me, and now I will mail it to you. So you should have that soon enough. But great to see you, Aubrey, as always. And I don't know that we have too much to talk about this morning. It's very early. There's only 7 people watching, obviously. I just kind of wanted to put out no, it's not your no, Aubrey. No. I put the call out. And also that was a misunderstanding on my part. That particular contest, I thought it was for a digital code. And when it's for a digital code, I don't have to gather addresses. Because obviously I just email you the code. And I found out after the fact it was for a physical Blu-ray. And then I remember I went back to them and said, hey, we never got those codes. And they said, that's because it's for a Blu-ray. We're waiting for you to send us the mailing addresses. So that one was kind of on me. Because I was already late because I should have gotten that to them earlier, but I didn't ask you guys for your mailing addresses because I didn't realize it was a physical item. I thought it was a digital code. So it was kind of my screw up, but it's all right because I got the disc and it's coming your way. I'll give you the tracking number as soon as I have it, but that's on today's agenda to go to the post office and mail that out. I did send some invites to some of my friends, said anyone can stop by, but I don't think I'm going to be on too long. Basically, I wanted to get last night's stream out again because last night's stream I thought was interesting, and I've been kind of maybe I've been a bit of a pain in the ass to this guy in Florida because I've posted some posts on his Facebook page complaining about this con and the name, and I've encouraged others to do the same. So I thought maybe I owed it to him to get the conversation out there. I don't know. It seems this is a gray area. To me, it seems like it's a gray area. Based on the conversation we had, it really seems that there's not much that can be done about it. This guy is going to use the name Super RetroCon. Even if you go after him with a trademark, could he say that the hyphen and the super makes a difference? Maybe he could, and it's probably not worth fighting him on it. But morally, I think it's wrong. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe maybe there's nothing that can be done, but morally, I don't believe it's right. And that's just me. So I think my approach is going to be, I'm going to step back. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to say another word about this. But if you are going to Super RetroCon, if you're in the Orlando area and you're going to Super RetroCon and you agree with me that maybe legally he's not doing anything wrong, but still it's kind of a scummy thing to do, maybe you say something. Maybe you say something while you're there, like, hey, I think you should change this name. Someone else has the name. Maybe if the court of public opinion is against him, he will consider changing it. Aubrey says, I really think the name should be changed. They are too similar and people could get confused and it feels like they're affiliated. I agree. I also think he's trying to piggyback on the good name that my friend built. RetroCon has a real good reputation. It's a very beloved con to the people who attend it. And I can't help but feel like he's trying to piggyback off the goodwill they've created for themselves over the years. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way it seems. And I'd like to thank Matt Jarbo for stopping by to talk about this. I did put the word out that I was going live this morning, but again, it is quite early. Most people don't stream this early. And I just wanted to get that conversation out there to the world, but with the necessary edits where I take out the name of the guest that I accidentally exposed. So there you go. How's everyone doing this morning? I see we've only got 7 viewers, which is obviously well below the normal number of viewers we have for one of these live streams. But again, it is an unusual time and it was unannounced. So I don't think a lot of people were expecting me to go live this early, and a lot of people are probably at work right now. So, but is everybody good? Skullman, how you doing? Louise, you're over in the UK. What time is it in the UK? I don't know. Louise may have left us. I don't know. She may be gone now. So maybe it's time to wrap this up. Yeah. Oh, Movie John says, didn't you do this last night? Yes, Movie John. Yes, we did. It's a rebroadcast from last night. Well, not now. The first 27 minutes of this stream were a rebroadcast from last night. I had to edit the name. I accidentally revealed a guest who had been not yet announced at RetroCon 2022. So I went back, downloaded last night's stream, censored the name that I should not have been revealed, and I played it back this morning, and now I'm live doing a wrap up. Skullman says, I have something I want to ask. Ask away, Skullman. Ask away. Aubrey says, sickness has struck our house. Oh, I hope it's not cinema sickness. I hope he hasn't struck your house. That's because, he'll just eat all your food. No, that's, who am I kidding? He doesn't eat anything. Unless you got chicken nuggets and like plain cheese pizza, he's not going to eat your food. We all know that. I'm teasing. And Aubrey says, I like my physical copies. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if anyone, I haven't seen the movie. The movie that Aubrey won was on the audio podcast, the MegaPodTastic audio podcast. We were giving away a copy of the movie Saint Maud, and Aubrey was one of our winners. And I have not seen Saint Maud. I can't comment on the quality of the film myself. I know a movie reviewer that I'm not too fond of raved about the film. And I won't lie, maybe it's petty of me, but the fact that I don't like the guy kind of already put a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, oh, that guy I can't stand is praising this film. I know. Petty of me. That doesn't mean anything. Skullman says, what do I think of the Guillermo del Toro Hellboy films with Ron Perlman? I watched them for the first time and loved them. We were robbed of an actual third film. Skullman, I love those movies, especially Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. As good as the first film was, and it was quite good, the second one was even better. I really, really wish we had gotten a third one. The third one is complicated, though. It is complicated because, number one, the first two movies were not exactly a big hit. Hellboy 1, Hellboy 2, they didn't exactly burn up the box office. Hellboy 1 did well enough that Sony made the first one. And Sony was like, yeah, we don't want to do another one. But it did well enough that Universal was like, we'll pick up the rights. We'll do Hellboy 2. So there you go. You're already in kind of a nebulous area where the studio that made the movie was like, we don't think we want to make a second one. But there was enough success that another studio stepped in and was like, we'll do it. So Sony did the first one, Universal did the second one, and whoever scheduled the release date of Hellboy 2: The Golden Army at Universal, they should have been fired, because it released, I'm going back over 10 years in my memory. I think it was 1 week before The Dark Knight, maybe 2 weeks before. I don't know. It was so close to The Dark Knight. It was released like up smack against The Dark Knight. And it didn't stand a chance, quite frankly. As soon as The Dark Knight came out, everybody forgot Hellboy was out there. And it was never going to be a huge movie to begin with. But in the superhero fan community, The Dark Knight just... It took Hellboy 2 right off the map. So right there, Hellboy 3 was in danger. But then there was one last wrinkle to the Hellboy 3 fiasco, and that is Guillermo del Toro wanted to tell the end game story. Like, he wanted to end Hellboy's story. And the creator of Hellboy, Mike Mignola, had not ended Hellboy's story in the comics. And Mike Mignola did not want Guillermo del Toro to tell that story. He thought that was his story to tell. He thought, hey, this is my character. I'm not ready to tell this character's final story. And if anyone's going to tell it, it's going to be me, not you. So he did not want the story to be told that Guillermo del Toro wanted to be told. So with the third one, we came into a problem of the financial. The second one had not been a big hit. The first one had not been a huge hit either, but it was more of a hit than the second one. First one was not a huge hit. Second one was less of a hit. And Mike Mignola did not want the story told that Guillermo del Toro wanted to tell. Mike Mignola was behind the reboot with David Harbour. And he actually, I believe there's comments in there where he praised the reboot. He thought it was better than Del Toro's. Obviously, the fans disagree. I disagree. You probably disagree. But it's more in line with what Mignola wanted. So there you go. It kind of makes a third Hellboy film under Del Toro pretty much impossible, because when the creator of the franchise has no interest, what are you going to do? Unfortunate. Aubrey says, I love the Hellboy films. The practical effects were great. Absolutely. The makeup effects for Ron Perlman looked great in those movies. He really did. Another issue you have, and I don't know, maybe she could do it. Maybe she's well enough to do it. I don't know. But Selma Blair, who played his love interest in those films, she's sick now. She's not, I think, does she have MS? It might be MS. I don't know. But she's not in the best health. So I don't know if she would be available to do the movie. Then you get the question of, what do you do? Do you recast her role? Would she want to do it? Maybe she would. Maybe she'd be up for it anyway. Maybe you say the character came down with MS, which could happen. It happened to the actress. It could happen to the character. I don't know. I don't know how you work around that, but that could also be an issue. The fact that Selma Blair isn't doing so well these days. Jesse's here. Good to see you, Jesse. People are starting to filter in. People are starting to filter in. But I don't know. I don't know how long we'll see what happens. If some people pop in and want to talk, maybe we can keep this going a little longer. But I don't think we're going to be on too much longer, because it is early, and I don't even think people know we're on. Quite frankly, I don't think most of our viewers are awake yet. Jesse says, where is it? Jesse says, am I looking forward to the Batman? Jesse, I got tickets for the Batman. I'm seeing the Batman tomorrow. I would love to tell you I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Batman. I wish I did, because I am a huge Batman fan, and I definitely want to love a Batman movie. But I don't like some of the things they're doing. Let me see. I'm trying to pull some things up here. Let's take a look at this. Let me see. Can I pull this up? All right. Hang on. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I got to remove this video file here before I can share anything else. Share slides. Did they change this? What is this? It seems there seems to be a change over here. They've changed something on StreamYard. I used to be able to share a window, but now it says share slides. What is this? What happened to share window? Why can't I share windows anymore? Oh, that's a pain in the neck. All right, let's try share screen. Give me a second here. Sorry guys. I didn't expect this. They're throwing monkey wrenches at me. Unexpected monkey wrenches. All right, so I'm going to have to just share my screen with you. You get out of here. It's a pain when you think you're prepared and they change the rules on you, you know? Oh, no, here it is. Here it is. Okay. All right, this is the Catwoman. I don't know, maybe it's me. I think that mask looks like shit. That looks like garbage to me. They put a ski mask on her. They cut a big hole in a ski mask and they put a ski mask on her. That doesn't look good. Like, that doesn't look good at all. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer looked better than that. Anne Hathaway looked better than that. But just a ski mask, like, this just looks so incredibly weak to me. I'm like, what is this? Why is that the direction you're going in? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. And the Riddler, man, I like what they've done with the Riddler even less. Like, if I hate the what they've done with Catwoman, dear God, do I hate what they've done with the Riddler. Let me get the Riddler up here. Give me a second. Now, I don't know. Maybe the movie's going to be great. I want to believe it's going to be great. I really do, because I love Batman. I mean, why wouldn't I want to love the new Batman movie? Like, I'm not out to get it. I just don't like what I'm seeing. Look at that. Look at that. That doesn't look anything like the Riddler. That looks nothing like the Riddler. That looks more like the Batman villain Hush. Like, he looks more like Hush. I don't know who's familiar with Hush, but that's what I get when I look at that. Not the Riddler. And I've had people say things to me that I think are kind of silly. Like, people have said, well, you can't have him looking like Frank Gorshin. And it's like, well, I didn't say I want him to look like Frank Gorshin. I mean, but look how he looked on the animated series. On the animated series, he wore the green jacket, the green necktie, the bowler hat. Like, you don't have to put him in the spandex that has question marks all over it. I mean, that, but even that could be made to work. I think the MCU has proven that you can be faithful to the comics and still make it work, because for years people said, "Oh, that doesn't work. You can't do a faithful comics version." But the MCU came along and it's like, watch us, and they've done it. So I don't know. Here it is. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm trying to bring up an image of Hush. I want to show, for those who don't know, this is what Hush looks like. He's a Batman villain, and they made the Riddler look like Hush. So he looks like a different Batman villain. He doesn't even look like who he's supposed to. So yeah, I want to see the movie. I'm going to see the movie. I got tickets to see the movie, but I'm not excited. I want to be excited, but I'm not. Mike Bear says, any new 2002 horror you're excited about? Horror? Good question. I don't know. I don't know what's coming out. I definitely liked Scream 5. Scream 5 was excellent. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre was pretty good. But I don't know what else is coming out And you asked, did I see the new Scream? I did. I like the new Scream. In fact, it hasn't been officially announced, so don't take my word for it. But I suspect that Scream 5 is going to pop up on Paramount Plus tomorrow. I think it's going to show up on Paramount Plus tomorrow. Tomorrow's March 1st. It's a Tuesday. And they've been announcing Scream 5 will be on Paramount Plus in March. Well, it's here. March is tomorrow. But they haven't given a date. So I suspect we might see Scream 5 on Paramount Plus tomorrow. Who knows? Aubrey says, I don't think the film looks that great, to be honest. I'm with you, Aubrey. I'll tell you, when I heard the director, Matt Reeves, I really love Let Me In. I was very excited because I love Let Me In. I'm like, he's a great director. I heard Robert Pattinson, good actor, really well cast as Batman. You hear Zoe Kravitz and Paul Dano. You heard just talent, just massive talent. And I was like, I'm in. And I was getting more and more excited. And then I saw the trailer. And I'm like, with every trailer, my excitement level has dropped. Now I know other people that are saying they think it looks like the best thing ever. They really look at this. Aubrey says, "Oh, that looks bad." Jesse says, "Wow, that looks terrible." See, you guys are with me. We are the minority on this. Everyone else I see is praising it and saying, "Oh, it's so good. It's so good." I hate it. Aesthetically, I hate it. Maybe the story is going to be fabulous. Maybe the story will be so good that I could overlook those total shit costumes. But that's what they are. They're total shit costumes. We'll see. I'll find out tomorrow night. I'll be there tomorrow night. I want to love it. I want to love it. Skullman says, what do I prefer, Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead? Without Romero, we wouldn't think of zombies the way we do today. Well, I agree with you. Romero is the king of the zombies. He put the zombies on the map. And but I think personally, I prefer Night. I know most people will say Dawn. But personally, I prefer Night. That's just me. You know what one I really love that doesn't get enough attention? I really liked Diary of the Dead, the found footage film. And it came out the same year, I think it was 09, maybe 08. Came out the same year as Cloverfield. And Cloverfield got so much attention, and I thought that Diary of the Dead was the same type of thing, a found footage film, but so much better than Cloverfield. Aubrey says, I think her outfit should have been shiny, not matte. Yeah, I know. Chester says they're trying to be edgy. This is an unusual stream, man. This is an unusual stream. It seems like most of you guys are with me on this and don't think this looks that good. I'll tell you, I've been on a lot of live streams over on Poindexter Lounge and $3 Theater and Mad Max's Mad Movie Entertainment channel, Pop Corner, or pop culture corner. I've been on all these channels and I'm in the minority. Like everyone else is praising this film and they can't believe that I don't think it looks good. So it seems it's odd that so many of you guys are agreeing with me in this stream, because I'm not used to people agreeing with me on the Batman. Everyone else I talk to seems to be like, no, you're nuts. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I don't know. If my friend RJ were here, he'd be telling me how wrong I am. So Jesse says, thoughts on Colin Farrell as the Penguin? He looks good. I mean, he actually looks like the Penguin. He does look like the Penguin. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. And oh my God, it's so weird because he doesn't look anything like Colin Farrell. Like you wouldn't know that it is Colin Farrell. It's like really? Get out of here. That's Colin Farrell? They did a fantastic job with his makeup. So yeah, as much as I think Catwoman and Riddler look like garbage, we've got this this is Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I mean, would you even recognize that as Colin Farrell? I mean, I wouldn't. And he's getting an HBO series too. They're going to be doing HBO series on his Penguin. So we'll see how it goes. 1 second. There we go. Yeah. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I like that. What does everyone think about Colin Farrell? I like him. I think he looks good. Lewis Cox says, "How you doing?" I'm doing good, Lewis. How are you? Fetch with rough man. I don't know what that means. Who's the rough man? Yeah, we're discussing the new Batman movie now, Lewis. I'm not. Aubrey says he went out in public in his penguin costume and no one recognized him. Of course, yeah. I mean, he's totally unrecognizable. That looks great. No two ways about it. That looks great. Not happy with the Riddler or Catwoman, but I cannot fault them on that penguin. Let's see. We hang on 1 second here. Oh, where is it? I'm sorry, I'm not good at multitasking. I do apologize for that. And I'm probably going to be wrapping this up soon because we came on to talk about RetroCon, Super RetroCon, that whole controversy. But I think we've exhausted that subject. And let's see. Chester says, I too am a big fan of Let Me In. I didn't realize it was the same director. Raises my hopes. Yeah. Matt Reeves, director of Let Me In. He's also the director of Cloverfield. I mean, I just said, I just was talking about Cloverfield. Matt Reeves also directed Cloverfield, which isn't a bad movie. And I just like Diary of the Dead a lot better. And he did the last two Planet of the Apes movies, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. He's a great filmmaker. He definitely is. He's a terrific director. So I don't know. I don't. There's another thing of I don't think it's going to be a bad movie because you got talent there. You've got real talent there. But it's a question of what do you want? You know, here's what we're giving you. And what do you want? And I feel like this is probably going to be good for what it is. If you want a very, very grounded, realistic, modern take on Batman, this will probably be that, and it will probably be good. But if that's not the kind of Batman movie you want, it doesn't mean this movie won't be good, but it's not going to be satisfying to you. And to me personally, that's not the kind of Batman movie I want. I want a Batman movie that is more fantastical, that is more fantasy based. Look at this. RJ's here. RJ, welcome to the stream.
Hello, where am I? I clicked on the transport.
Yeah, you're on MegaPodTastic. We were just talking about the Batman, and I was saying it's a little unusual because most of my viewers are actually agreeing with me and saying they don't like what they're seeing. And I said, this is very unusual because every other stream I've been on in the past week has been people telling me I'm crazy. It's going to be great. I said, if RJ were here, he'd be saying I'm nuts. So I open the floor to you to tell me that I'm crazy.
Well, no, it depends. I mean, what about it doesn't look interesting to you? I'm just genuinely curious. I mean, it's fine if you're not interested in the movie. That's okay.
Well, I got tickets. I'm going tomorrow night. I want to love it. I want to love it because it's Batman and I love Batman, but I don't like the look of it. Like we were talking about this Catwoman costume. It looks like they just put a hole in a ski mask. It looks like they didn't put any work into this at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's what I would say though, just to counter that point though. If this is early formative years of these villains adopting their identities, though, I think these early concepts, okay, where it's like, okay, Selena Kyle is starting off being a cat burglar. She's gonna basically wear a ski mask, right? I mean, like that's a pretty logical leap forward. So she's gonna don a mask like that. It's not like a full Catwoman outfit yet. It's the foundation of one, but not the complete version of it. If that makes sense.
See,
Where you're building on something to create something later, but it still has the visual motif of, okay, this is Catwoman. You still get that vibe at the core.
I'll feel better about it. I'll feel better about it if, like, at the end of the movie, she's wearing something like I always have been a fan of the Catwoman costume that Darwin Cook put her in.
Yes, Darwin Cook's costume. She needs the goggles. I think eventually they should put her with the. I think the Darwin Cook look is probably what they're going to strive for later. I mean, even a regular outfit, like with the leather jacket and all that she has on, without like taking the mask out of it, it looks like a Darwin Cook kind of designed costume. It's just the mask, I feel like, might be the issue for some people. But again, I feel like by the end of this, we will get to a point where she'll be wearing more traditional goggles and more traditional costume. If that makes sense.
Yeah, let me just in case anyone doesn't know what it looks like, let me bring up the Darwin Cook costume. Darwin Cook, man, what a great guy. I met him at a con once. He couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, I'm sure.
And tragic loss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did it come up? What's happening?
I did not see it.
Where's up? There it is. It moved. Okay. This is the Darwin Cook costume, which I love that costume.
Mm.
So
yeah, it's a nice modernization, amalgamation of what's come before too. It kind of covers all of it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I keep telling people I'm not excited for the new Batman movie, but I want to love it. I want to be wrong. Like I desperately want to be wrong. I want to walk out.
Well, no, that's the funny thing. Like it's very funny because you're in that spectrum with this movie, and pretty much everyone else is in the camp of, I'm ready to love this movie. It's every other DC movie coming out this year that I'm like, I don't know. I want it to be good. I'm not for sure. I'll give it a chance. Hopefully I like it, but there's some things bad I don't like. It's really funny because you're like, everyone else is on that polar opposite spectrum with the other movies, but you're like, I'm cool with the other movies. It's just this one movie, I'm like, I don't know about it, you know, which is, it's funny to me.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited. Like, my number one movie of the year is The Flash. I can't wait.
Which is probably the movie everyone's the most worried about.
Which I don't understand why everyone's getting upset about rumors that I think have already proven not to be true. The notion that it's going to erase everything that came before, I think we've seen enough evidence to indicate that that's not true now. I think we're going to get a Batman swap, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say the term erasure. I think erasure at this point is kind of a moot term. It's not really an erasure. It's more like a pivoting, or maybe not even a pivoting, more like a restructure. You know, it's like we're not you know, burning down the entire office room. We're just like moving some furniture around, taking some things out, putting some new stuff in. That's right. What it is.
Absolutely. Mike Bear says Black Adam looks great because of all the heroes in it. Oh, well, dear God, Hawkman looks awesome in that movie. Hawkman looks great.
I mean, Hawkman, I mean, Dr. Fate.
Yeah, Dr. Fate too. Amazing. Dr. Fate too. I really, one thing I do want the Flash movie to do, I don't think it will, but I want the Flash movie to bring the Doom Patrol universe into the Earth 1 DCEU so that those characters are existing on the same plane as the other DCEU characters, because I know this is a controversial take, but no matter how you feel about Ray Fisher, the guy ain't coming back. So that does replace, you do get a new Cyborg then. In a way that makes sense.
So you're saying bring in Jovi and Wade to fill in that role.
Exactly, but also it opens up a position where you can have the Chief in a scene with Dr. Fate, and you get two Bonds, two Bonds at once.
Okay, no, I can see a line of thinking. They would probably never do that because they really hate muddling the waters when it comes to that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it would be interesting. I mean, it's a multiverse for a reason. So
I think that would go over better than recasting Ray Fisher, like because at least you'd be like, well, we didn't recast this guy. We brought in another version that already existed. I think that might go down a little smoother with some people. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I'm dead wrong.
I think overall, I think there's no winning when it comes to that, which is probably why they are never going to touch that character cinematically again. Which, right or wrong, however you feel about that is what it is. It's probably for the best, given what's going on, until there is something they can do. At this point, I would just issue an apology at this point and just break bread together. That's my whole thing. Because I don't think giving up on the cyborg character in the movies is the answer either. But I also don't think that recasting or trying to go sugarcoating your way around the situation is the right way to go either.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that, but I don't think it'll be anywhere anytime soon. I think they'll let it sit for a little while. Lewis says Catwoman's a cat burglar, and I think that's supposed to say thief. That is the cat.
No, it's about her thighs.
Thive. What is thive?
I don't know. I was making it up as I was going along.
Gary says, "Hey Joe, didn't know you were going live this early. Neither did I. What happened? For those of you who are just joining us, what happened was last night I went live with Matt Jarbo.
Oh, okay. I rewound the stream. I'm like, isn't this the same segment I watched last night? That's why I was confused.
Yeah, no. Last night I went live with Matt Jarbo discussing a convention, and I accidentally said something I shouldn't have said. I revealed a guest at my friend's convention that had not been officially announced yet. Oh. So I hid the stream. I downloaded the video. I edited out my my mistake, and this morning I played it back live.
Okay.
And then
good on you for doing that, for fixing that.
The
magic of editing.
Exactly. So I didn't want to delete the whole stream because I don't know. This is a topic that was really bugging me, and I know it was bugging some other people, and I just wanted to have it out there. And I didn't want to have it out there if I was giving away a spoiler that wasn't mine to spoil. So I thought that was the best way to do it. And then as soon as the 27-minute playback ended, I went actual live.
Okay.
So Lewis says WB will never say sorry to Ray Fisher. Probably, well, I don't know. You don't know.
Never say never.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Yeah, I meant thief. Sorry, typos. Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm gonna wrap this stream up now, including the 27-minute playback from last night. I've been on for about an hour, and it is pretty early.
So,
thank you for stopping by, RJ.
Of course. Like I said, I clicked on the link. I had no clue where it was going to take me. I just showed up. So
I've done that so many times. I popped into one of Max's streams the other day, and it was like they were wrapping up, and he went around and asked everyone for their final word on the topic, and I said, I don't know what we're talking about. I saw a link and clicked it. So I got nothing. But yeah, going back to the beginning of this stream, the topic of Super RetroCon, I think I'm gonna let it lie. I'm not the promoter of RetroCon. It's not necessarily my place. I get a little overprotective of my friends. Maybe that's a mistake on my part because I
don't think it's any mistake being overprotective of friends. I think it shows you care.
I mean, I got thick skin. Like anyone could say anything about me, but when people say things about my friends, I get it. Like I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, but the other day I got into a fight with some of Jarbo's critics. And I was
okay.
And I was like, finally, I was like, what? Why? And Jarbo had walked away. Like he wasn't even in it anymore. And I'm like, why am I fighting someone else's fight? This is ridiculous.
Like,
so
what am I doing here?
But it's what I do all the time. And it's like, I don't have any connection to RetroCon except I'm friends with the promoters and an attendee. So it's not like I have any kind of financial gain there. It's just like, you stole my friend's name, and I got angry. But I'm going to walk away. But I do say, if you're going to the con, if you're in the Orlando area and you're going to the con, and you feel the same as I do, I mean, legally, I think there's not a fight there. But maybe you want to just pass the owner and say, hey, you got a great con here, but I think you should change the name. Maybe court of public opinion will change his mind. But there you go. I'm going to, Gary says, Joe, you're missing a list on your item shirt. You're missing the option of a very manly Muppet. Personally, I think I'm more a very manly Muppet than a Muppet of a man. So, yeah, that probably should be there. All right. I'm going to wrap this up.
That song was great, though, by the way. I do love that movie.
I know it was nominated. I think it won the Oscar that year.
I think it did, too. I know it was nominated. I think it won. I could be wrong, though.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for everyone who stopped by on this early morning stream. Thank you to RJ. Thank you to Matt Jarbo for stopping by last night on the early portion of the stream. And I don't know. I guess good luck to Super RetroCon. I don't like what you did. But I wish you luck nonetheless. All right, everybody. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open, it's a trap.
Oh no,
it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.